So they have stem-like, leaf-like and root-like rhizoids, but they do not have the presence of any tissue for conduction of food and water. Fine. So this is it is going one step ahead. That is, it is having root-like, stem-like and leaf-like root-like rhizoids, but do not have the presence of tissue for conduction of food and water, and also do not have any flowers or fruits. So now let us go for the third one. Fine. Before that, let me show you some of the pictures of our bryophytes. So here I have placed a picture of a funaria. You can see it is commonly growing on the walls or maybe on the flat surface. Okay, wherever it is moist, it will be growing. So now this is actually, it looks very big, but the size is very small, around maybe 0.5 millimeter or so, and you can see how is the stalk coming out here. Fine. And here there are leaf-like structures, and they are inside the soil. That means they have the root-like structures also. So the common it is scientifically called as funaria, or commonly called as moss. Fine. Next one is you can see I've clicked a picture from my garden. Here this is also called as Rixia. You can see how small it is, and you can see leaf-like structures, and here there are small fiber like roots. Fine. They are also called as rhizoids. So the name of this is Rixia. You can see it is dichotomously branching. Dichotomous means splitting into two. Fine. Next one is Marchantia. Now though the picture is large here, the size is similar to Rixia, very small it also grows. This is called as Marchantia. Next one we have Anthoceros. Now the picture of Anthoceros is shown in your textbook. Next, let us go for the next division, that is division number 3 and the last division of cryptogams. So division Pteridophyta. Now division Pteridophyta, let me show you, have well developed root stems and leaves. Now you see, from thallophytes, no roots, no stem, no leaves. Bryophytes have root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structure. Now pteridophyte is little more evolved by having true roots, true stems and true leaves. Fine. Next, they also have additional evolutionary character, that is nothing but separate tissue for conduction of food and water. That means since they have roots, they have stems and they have leaves, they can prepare food and have to be present, it has to go down in the stem and the roots. Therefore they require some tissue for conduction of the food. As well as roots they have, that means roots are absorbing water from the soil. So for that also they will require special tissue, and therefore this is another evolutionary character, you can say, that has separate tissues for conduction of food and water. Next, but now here again it is not highly evolved. Why? Because it does not have any flower or any fruit, only stem, roots and leaves and tissue for conduction of food and water. Fine. Now reproduce with the help of spores which are produced along the back or posterior surface of their leaves. Now if I will show you a picture of a pteridophyte which commonly grows along the walls and all. They are commonly also called as ferns. Pteridophytes are called as ferns, whereas bryophytes are called as mosses, and thallophytes are called as algae. So pteridophytes, you can see that they are producing spores. Can you see these structures here, red colored dot like structures which are behind the leaf, or also called as posterior surface of their leaves. So through these spores they reproduce. These structures are also called as sori. It is mentioned in your textbook about the word called as sori. So these sori are having spores, and these spores, when they fall in the soil, they germinate into a new plant. So they reproduce by means of spores along the and these spores are present along the back or maybe posterior surface of their leaves. Next, Let me show you some of the pictures now of some of the pteridophytes. So here this is a beautiful fern called as Selaginella. Remember, when I am saying fern, I mean to say they are pteridophyte. So since they are commonly called as ferns, I use the word called as fern. So this is one of the fern, beautiful fern called as Selaginella. Then next one is Lycopodium. You can see the picture how beautiful the leaf structure is. Then we have Marsilia. It is also called as clover leaf. Okay, it has, you can see 4 leaf-like leaves are there. So it is also called as clover leaf. Then next we have, this is the very common one which grows in your garden also called as Adiantum. Okay, and behind this only you can see the picture like this. I have shown you here this picture, right? So you can see like this structure behind that. So but you will have to wait for some time now, one more month for the spores to grow behind it. Now if you see, there won't be any spores behind it. Fine. Next is Pteris. This is called as Pteris. Fine, a common fern. Then we have this beautiful fern. There are many ferns like Nephrolepis also, which is growing in the, people buy it for growing it in the garden and all. But I have not placed it here. There are so many ferns. Here this is another peculiar fern called as Equisetum. It does not grow here. Very rare fern it is. But wherever it grows, it is said that wherever it grows, there might be gold below in that area. Gold might be found or gold mines might be there. So it is also called as Equisetum. So remember this fern, it is called as Equisetum. Fine, and see how beautiful the structure is. But here it is not found. Wherever gold mines will be there, it might be found there. Okay, next. And this is regarding all the 3 different divisions which are belonging to cryptogams, and we are going to learn about phanerogams. They are flowering plants in the next video. So till then, bye, take care, and please learn whatever is taught in the class. So thank you very much. Good night.